Welcome to another edition of the Vetted Veterans Talking to Veterans, or VTTV for short, podcast series, coming to you from Du Bois, Wyoming, where I had the privilege of spending several unforgettable days over Memorial Day weekend 2025 at the National Museum of Military Vehicles, a place where reverence, resilience, and renewal converge. During my time there, I was honored to participate in two transformative events, the VTTV Resource Fair and the VTTV Coaches Graduation Ceremony. The graduation ceremony for the newest class of VTTV coaches was made all the more powerful by Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon, who addressed the graduates with heartfelt remarks and personally handed each of them their diploma. These events brought together veterans, families, community leaders, and mental health advocates to reflect, remember, and look forward together. At the center of this moment was Chris Searles, a VTTV coach who graduated in 2024, and today's guest. He is now a part of VTTV leadership and a mentor to new coaches. Chris is a U.S. Army combat veteran, a father, and a dedicated peer support leader with a quiet intensity that immediately commands respect and trust. He served in Iraq, experiencing the kind of moral and physical challenges that change a person forever. But it's what Chris has done since coming home that makes his story so compelling. He's the founder of Overwatch 6, a small nonprofit dedicated to raising money through weapons and outdoor skills training to fund alternative forms of treatment like stem cell therapy for our veterans and first responders. Chris embodies the essence of what the VTTV program is about: veterans helping veterans, not with platitudes or slogans, but with real training, real listening, and real commitment. We honored the fallen that weekend, yes, but we also bore witness to the living legacies of service, strength, and post-traumatic growth. Join me now for this powerful and personal conversation with VTTV coach Chris Searles, recorded live in Du Bois, Wyoming at the National Museum of Military Vehicles. Let's get into it. Hi, Chris Searles from Veterans Talking to Veterans. I'm thankful that you are joining me today. Chris is here with me at the Veterans Talking to Veterans Resource Fair at the National Museum of Military Vehicles, where today we graduated a handful of coaches from a cohort, and he's agreed to talk to us today about what it is like to be a coach.
I'm one of the alumni this year. I graduated last year, similar scenario. So now I'm one of the alumni. And then I got brought on with VTV a few months ago to help with coordinating the new coaches and the trainings and the event, and it's been great. It's great, like, you hear a lot about in the veteran community is purpose and serving and all that, and when I moved to Wyoming, I joined a volunteer search and rescue team, and so I had a pretty good purpose, and I had a lot of good adrenaline and mission focus and training and all that stuff that gave me a good purpose, yeah. But then I realized I had to go work on myself, and the search and rescue was a distraction, a projection, or a distraction of what's in the mirror. And so when I finally came to terms with that, I decided, all right, I'm going to go do what I need to do to help myself and be a good dad, take care of my family, all that good stuff. So I came out feeling like $1 million. And within a couple months, the VTV coaching training popped up, and a friend sent me the email of, hey, this coaching thing. I'm like, well, I don't know what this is, but I'll go, sure, why not? So I sat down and met Robin and Julie, and was with the sheriff and here in Sublette County, Wyoming, and a couple other people I know, and I just kind of told my story, and they said, yeah, we'd like to have you apply. So I applied, and they pulled me in and went through the training, and it was great. I met some great people. Like any veteran type group, you meet a lot of great people. And at first I was like, this storytelling thing, I don't get it. I don't understand the storytelling thing. So I rolled with it and just like, I'll try something new. I'm kind of in a new phase of my life. Let's see what happens. And I went through the coaching. I saw it. I was helping some people in the training. I was like, oh, it must be good. And I was fortunate enough to be within an hour or so of Julie Elledge, the genius behind this. So I got to go sit in her meetings in Jackson. And then I got to really see it in action and be like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. I get it. I get it. So I was fortunate to get more one-on-one time with the pros, and then I just jumped in. Like we tell our new coaches, they're always worried about how to start a meeting and how to get things going. How do I do this? I'm like, just start. Just start, call your buddies, ask for favors, and just start. It'll come to you. And so that's what I did. Called favors, and 6, 8 people showed up, and within a few weeks, a couple of them stayed. But you find the right ones, and they start coming around and staying around. They enjoy it. They like the storytelling. They like the conversations that come from the stories. The stories are just a spark for the conversation. It could be any the right story, but it's the questions that spark the conversations that matter. And that's kind of the tactic or the skill, I guess, you need to do it. And did it for about 8-10 months now. I've been involved, and I've had good success in my group. My wife is a tech guru and very creative mind, so she helped me with some marketing stuff, and then she helped me get on Zoom and set up the camera and all that stuff that I don't know how to do. And so I was able to then talk to my buddies that I've had over the years. Hey, zoom in this meeting I'm doing, see what you think. And so some of them came in, and they would tell their buddies, and you know how it goes from there. And so I had a decent Zoom presence online. 4 to 6 guys from the community would come, and then maybe 8 to 10 on Zoom from around the country. And it was working. I saw it working. I saw how the stories sparked the conversations. I saw how the ones that needed to opened up. And I saw how the ones that could be the hero or provide the support would jump in and support that guy that opened up, or gal. And when you're watching this happen right in front of you, it's fascinating. And you don't so much, you're not telling anybody what to do. There's no like forced anything. It's literally just kind of guiding. How I like to call it is when your kids go to the bowling alley and they put the bumpers up in the gutters so the ball doesn't fall off the thing. You just kind of gear the bumpers, keeping the conversation on the rails. But the group is what carries on the conversation and does the supporting and does the work. You're just kind of guiding it and providing the story and the questions. So I did a couple of stories, and it was going well and having a good time. But I was starting to think, man, I'm getting kind of tired of these stories. I want to try something else. And then one of the members in the group, one of the solid members, was like, we talked about something that night, did not get in the story at all. And how you end the conversation that night is you ask everybody what they got out of the conversation. And one of the guys goes, man, I'm just glad we didn't talk about the story. I'm tired of the kings and the queens. And I was like, yeah, I hear you, man. I get it. I've got some ideas I'm going to run with. Because I needed someone to support that, my thought. I didn't want to be the only one thinking it. And I'm not a religious guy, a spiritual guy. I just don't know it. I'm not against it. I just don't know it. But I see signs, like there's patterns developing in my life the last couple of years that I can't deny.
You had twins. I understand that.
Yeah, really.
You have to see patterns when
There's
you have twins.
There's a lot more to the twin story. That's another conversation. Talk about one of my good buddies coming to the meetings one night to send me a text of Joe Walsh, The Confessor, a song. And I'm like, this is one of those signs. I've been thinking about a song or lyrics, because I'm a music guy. I like lyrics and all that stuff. And I'm thinking about how do I use music to replace the story, the lyrics to replace the story. I'm like, this is one of those signs. So I just went straight to the lyrics, and I was like, holy cow, this works. This is awesome. So I talked to the crew, Mentor Agility crew, and they're like, no, I could see this working. I'm like, okay, I want to run with it. So we just ran with it, and the group loved it, and we spent the last 4 weeks, I think, my meetings every Wednesday night. We spent the last 4 Wednesdays, every week Wednesday was one verse of the song. And we would break it down, and the perspectives that we got from the lyrics was much broader than the story. It's that one of the guys said, it's much more subjective. When the story kind of guides you how to think a little bit, and you ask the questions, it's kind of narrows the focus, I guess. So the lyrics is just throwing it out there. And the perspective we got was huge. And so it's fascinating to watch it happen. And the group loved it. They all were behind it. They really enjoyed it. And we just finished our first song this last week. And now one of the conversations was about who's your enemy. And it all kind of came down to you're your biggest enemy. What you see in the mirror, your reflection in the water, and in the song, it's a reflection in the well you're looking down at.
None of them said VA.
Yeah, that doesn't get brought up in my
All right.
conversations. No, we don't really go that route. We talk about life stuff, about how to improve yourself, without how to use yourself, to empower yourself to get you to that next level. And I don't want to use the VA or anybody as a crutch. Use yourself as to get you to the next level. So, where was I going with this? In that conversation about the enemy, one of the guys brought up time as his biggest enemy, which we all are facing that. Not enough time with your kids, not enough time with your family, work, all that stuff. And he brought it up a couple times in the conversation. So I kind of, mental note, our next song needs to be about time. So then the conversation took us to the next song. The group took us to the next place. And so I just kind of, and he's a big music guy. He's a very intelligent man. And I just was like, all right, man, it's on you. The topic is time, but you pick the song. All right. I'm thinking maybe Pink Floyd, something. He goes, we can go from Pantera to Pink Floyd. The possibilities are endless. So the other thing about the lyrics we've realized is it's infinite. You can go anywhere with it. As long as it's not, there's more of a metaphor there. There's not a something that will trigger somebody's story in the group. You have to know your group. You have to know who you're working with. You can't just throw out a song to any group. You have to kind of know who you're working with. The reason I chose the song was I know my group pretty well. They know each other well. So we could kind of test the boundaries a little bit. So we'll see where it goes. But it was fun. It's been an enjoyable experience, and it's got me to a new place.
After a conversation we had offline, you said that you are not necessarily an easy listening kind of music guy. You are more the Black Sabbath, Metallica kind of
heavier.
guy, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. So when you say you need to know your group, that means you trust that this individual isn't going to come to you with Taylor Swift or Simon and Garfunkel, like Time in a Bottle, that kind of...
You have to give... Part of the coaching is providing accountability and getting them have ownership in the subject.
So themselves. I'm not allowed in your group. Is that's...
You're welcome, sure. You're welcome.
No, I'm not.
So, no, you are.
I don't think I am.
We'll talk about that later.
All right.
So, by giving them some ownership of choosing the song, they get to have some responsibility of where that goes.
Okay.
And some pride and ownership. So you're empowering them. And that may give them an avenue to get something out.
Now, when we talked, in all seriousness, one of the things you did take me through a mini coaching session to show me how it worked, and it works. That's what I'm going to say. It's really cool the way that we went through that, and it's a conversation. I didn't even know you were doing it, right? We were just talking, and I thought you were being nice and getting to know me, and I met your twins, I met your wife. You're a really nice guy, and I like the fact that you use lyrics and music as part of your style, and that's a big part of my life. I love lyrics as well, and so I thought that was interesting. So I think that what I find so interesting about Veterans Talking to Veterans and the coaching style is that it's non-invasive, and that it is very natural and organic, and it doesn't feel therapeutic. It doesn't feel like you're being sort of pried at, and you allowed me to come at, answer at my pace. I had no idea what you were doing or what you were getting at until the end when you said, "You've just been coached," something like that, right? But you did. You ended with, "What did you get out of that?" And I was like, "Son of a..." No, I'm just kidding. It was neat, and so I guess what I'm asking you is, as you started from the beginning to now, what do you find the evolution of this as it's grown? What do you find most interesting about it, and where do you see from the beginning to now has been the biggest growth factor?
I think evolution is that's what it is. we're the coaches evolving in their own skill set, and a lot of us are working stuff on our own stuff while with the group. So it is an evolution, but the coaching, the reason you could use the lyrics and other things is because we have a model to follow, the hero's journey model that we can follow, and it's the way that story is told. It's everybody can relate to it because we all have a story. The reason movies and books are so we're drawn to them is because we can relate to them. So we use that same style of storytelling in the coaching. That's why you didn't know what was happening. And that's why you can kind of branch off a little bit and do the lyrics or do, try other things, poetry, quotes, short stories. And as long as you're following that model. And when you can kind of vaguely see where your people are at in that circle of life, we can call it, the evolution. That kind of helps you ask the right questions, probe a little bit, and then you kind of know where to get them to go next because you have that model training. You know where we're all at, that map, I guess. But to see where it goes next is, I realize I can challenge myself a little bit now. Like the music was a way to challenge, step out of the box a little bit, and then you gain a little confidence. You're like, oh, I guess I can do this. I think, my own personal belief, I believe cowardice is the biggest epidemic of this country. So when you gain the courage to step out of the box a little bit, that helps defeat that epidemic. And then you use that vulnerability of yourself to the group. The group sees you stepping out of the box, challenging yourself, and they come along with you. They trust you, but yet they tell you're like, guys, you good with where we go from here? This is a new thing we're going to try. Trust me, work with me here. Hopefully this goes where you want it to. So it's just the test. It's testing yourself, evolving, and keeping an open mind on where to go next. And then surrounding yourself with people that will challenge you. So Robin's staring at me right now. Ryan and Julie, they're going to challenge me and Alice to do better every time. But by putting yourself out there, that's the courage part that's building. But then you get feedback that makes you better. That's the growth.
Well, you named the leaders in the organization, but the others that I watched in the group clearly look to you as a leader as well. And so that's something that I think if you're looking at your own model, you are stepping up, you are taking that initiative, and if that's the model, then this will be successful. And so, bravo. What do you see as the biggest challenge when we're talking about veterans' mental health and suicide prevention today?
The veteran themselves, the individual, they have to do the work. No one can fix it for them. Nobody can snap their fingers, fairy dust, whatever, and they're going to be better. They have to want to do the work. And some, but very, very few, can do it on their own. Most, I don't care who you are, veteran, I don't care who you are. You need help. You need guidance. You need that coach. Like Julie mentioned today, a pro athlete doesn't go on the field without a coach. That's a great analogy. Everybody could use a little coaching every now and then. And I didn't realize that until I was in the program and learning all this stuff and seeing it happen for real. But having the right coach that has the right training is what makes all the difference. So when you surround yourself with the right people, you have the team, they're going to help you get to the next level, which then helps you get to the vets. So when the vet does come to you, that is a huge, brave, courageous thing to do, to step out of their little comfort zone, that their world that is working for them, whether good or bad, to step out of that is very hard to do. So the fact that they do that is a sign of courage and bravery that tells the coach these guys are ready for that, to get on that path, the challenge, that journey, the evolution. So you see that as the coach, and you can kind of help promote that, but they have to want to do the work. And the VA's not going to do it for them. The nonprofits aren't going to do it for them. They have to want to do the work. And I think the more shows like yours, Sean Ryan's show is like one of the top 5 podcasts in the world, focusing around veterans. In my opinion, that is giving the veteran a voice that they never had before. And we were discussing yesterday how our society doesn't know what to do with its warriors. We're just kind of forgotten about it. Those type of shows, your type of shows that give us a voice now, allows us to kind of step out of the shadows a little bit, because the public is a little more aware and educated on us. So we're not as fearful of stepping out. And then when you have the coaches there ready, waiting to help kind of navigate that trail or the bumpers on the bowling alley, everybody wins. And when you do it in the group setting, the veteran or the first responder that opens up and is vulnerable about their whatever's on that burden they're carrying, they unload that burden. Somebody else in the conversation gets to be the hero of the day. Metallica, hero of the day. So the hero of the day may be someone that's already been through his journey and now can support that guy. But next week, he may need the one that needs the support. And the one that was supported is now the hero of the day. So it's a give and a take. And everybody wins in the end. And when someone new comes into the group, let's say that new veteran comes out of the shadows and they're just kind of checking stuff out, they see that organic thing happening, like what I'm trying to explain here. Now they feel good enough in that environment. These guys are like me. They talk like me. They sound like me. They act like me. I guess I can say what I need to say, and I'll hear some good stuff. Something cool will happen. I'll make a new friend, whatever. We're going to do something will come out of this. But they have to have the courage to step out of the shadows.
Well, there's always room for a hero of the day. Where does the Sandman enter in?
Well, the Sandman is the nightmare. And if you could almost turn that into the shadow, which is one of the things we study in our training, is everybody has a shadow. I haven't quite got my head fully wrapped around it yet, but what works for me is we all have a shadow. What created the shadow? We did. Who's living in that shadow? You are. What's on the other side of that shadow? The sun.
I was trying to be funny, and you're you've thought it all out.
Well, the Sandman's the nightmare. So coming out of the Sandman, coming out of your shadow, is that courageous step I just talked about. That's part of the journey, the hero's journey we're talking about. But I need to dig more into that. I'm just being honest. I don't quite have my head wrapped around the shadow yet.
So how do you see Veterans Talking to Veterans also helping with families? I know that has been talked about. It is a very important aspect of helping with mental health and prevention.
Great question. In my opinion, the spouses have been kind of the forgotten casualty of this 20 years of war. And when we would come home from these deployments, who would take on the burden? The spouses would. And then we would go off in training, and they would continue doing their thing, go off in a combat, come back, and who knows who we were back then. They would take the burden, carry it, and move forward. For a long, long time they did that, over and over again. Now it's over, and what do we do about them? The trauma doesn't go away. Something needs to be done about them. So the cool thing about VTV and the coaching style is it's so adaptable, universal. And with VTV, it's open to veterans and spouses. My wife can be a coach. I had a conversation a few hours ago with a husband, spouse, one of our female new coaches, just completed the training, and the husband approached me about, and can't remember if he's a veteran, but he's a first responder. How does he get involved? So he and his wife can become a team to help others. I was like, wow, that is powerful stuff. So
Absolutely.
that's the power of the coaching and the flexibility of it.
Yes.
You can hand that off to the spouse to do what they feel they need to do. So the combat vet, or any vet, knows what they've been through, and the fellow vets know what they've been through, but only the spouses know what they've been through. And a friend of mine, she's a combat Black Hawk pilot, the spouse of a Black Hawk pilot, med ship pilot, and a mom. It's a lot of hats. And when she broke that down to me, it was like a kind of a mind-blowing thing of like, wow, I never thought of it like that. Only they know what they've experienced. I can't relate to all that. But when we empower them to do what they feel is best for their circle of friends, their group, you can just let them go, do what they need to do in their community. You give them the skills, the coaching skills, and then kind of set them free, and they can go help how they see and feel best in their community without a net or whatever. It's just, here's our style of coaching, stay within these boundaries, and do what you feel is best for your people.
So we talked about veterans, we talked about spouses. I'm very concerned in the work that I do and the work that I see also in this long war with the effects that we are going to see on children. And I know that's probably not something that you're addressing right now within groups, but what do you see? What are your thoughts on how this program could help? What are your thoughts?
Another great question. And I'm not probably the best one to ask that to, but I think
Well, it could
down,
be something that, maybe there are groups for teens.
I think it comes down to leadership again.
Mm-hmm.
The veteran family has to lead. The spouses, the husband, the wife. So by getting that veteran on a good path, of doing the self-work that they need to do, that veteran can lead their family out. I heard this recently.
Sometimes the veteran can't lead their family.
It's true. It's very true. Unfortunately, I haven't come into that yet. But I do know the resources to contact when that does happen. But I think I heard this recently, when you hit rock bottom, the good thing about that is you get to decide where you go from there. It's all on you. And if your family, let's say your family rides with you all the way down to that rock bottom, you now have an opportunity to show them the sky is the limit. And
I like that.
Take them as far as you can possibly go and lead them out of what once was.
That's great.
Yeah. Hit me. I got it.
I think a lot of people would get it. Well, I do see the potential for this program for young adults, for teens. It seems like something that would be possibly adaptable to.
On that note, I guess I need to back up. I volunteer to coach high school kids that are trying to quit smoking and vaping. And back to what I said about the flexibility of the coaching, it's easily adaptable.
Seems
and
like
I just
it would be.
kind of flip it a little bit, and I try to get on their level best I can. But it's just asking the right questions to get them to just go, huh, and think about what it is they're doing themselves, and then what can they do to help make those changes that they want to make. They just kind of need a little guidance, and you just coach them, and it works. I actually had a teacher in the school approach me about doing some leadership stuff, leadership coaching with the kids, because of whatever they're seeing.
Right.
The kids really like having us there. They appreciate us. They see a difference of just the 45 minutes a week we spend with them. So it says a lot about the program, but the flexibility of it and what we're doing, the whole thing with Veterans Talking to Veterans is empowering the veteran to go into their community and do good.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we're doing.
Well, I really appreciate you coming to talk. And it's been a long day, but you started out as being guest number one, and I saved the best for last, right?
I would say that.
Well, your wife would.
Yeah. I pay
And
her.
your kids.
I pay her well.
They're waiting for you in the car.
Yeah, and they're hungry.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you.
It's great getting to know you.
Yep, you too. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, likewise. Yes, thank you.